Boom. What's up, guys? Jordan Hunt here with Trent Dixon, talking about the deadline and things coming. We're just right now we're discussing what the Padres did. Just got Brian Hoeing and Tanner Scott from the Marlins for 4 players. That's going to be, well, he says, Mish says 4 for sure. Could be more.
It just Jeff Passan just tweeted it. No, my bad. He's tweeting more about it. He's tweeting just all the bullpen arms. I thought he tweeted the prospects because I saw a bunch of names and it popped up with a notification. But now he's talking about all the bullpen arms they've added.
Which is
some people
are
saying Brian Hoeing's included as well. Passan is not yet said Hoeing, but still pretty good.
Robbie Snelling is going to the Marlins.
No, if that's a huge in the Marlins.
Yeah,
pitching development is really good. I think he's had a bit of a kind of an up and down year, Snelling, but still, he was considered a pretty highly regarded prospect coming into the year. And we've seen.
I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with him.
He was a popular.
I'm not a huge Arthur Mazur. This guy is. Wait, who? Jay Bashirs.
Is this bit? Who's got this?
That's Mish.
There it is. Mish. Graham Pauly as well. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good return.
And dude, this is what we were just talking about. How does Preller keep doing this? Marlins get the final Robbie Snelling, Adam Mazur, Graham Pauly, and Jay Bashirs. I'm not super familiar with all those guys.
They're all solid prospects. Because Snelling was considered more coming into the year.
I've heard a rough year, but now I've heard of Robbie Snelling.
Yeah, Paulie's a good old third base prospect. Let me see what he's doing on the year. I think he actually debuted at some point, maybe earlier in the year. He did. He did play earlier in the year. Has not played well even in AAA this year, but last year in AA, he had a 141 WRC plus in AA, and he's just not been able to figure it out this year. But he's MLB ready.
Dude.
Which, by the way, is kind of what the Marlins have been prioritizing, MLB ready guys.
Yeah, they have gotten an absolute haul today. Well, I guess this whole deadline, but today, I mean, Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers, that dude, that's insane for good for them though. You know, they a lot of people said they should have done this 2 years ago, but then they ended up finding a way to make it to the postseason last year. And yeah, I don't know, is what it is.
Adam Mazur is another MLB ready guy. Either way, though, that's a pretty good return, I feel like, for a reliever.
I mean, yeah.
Like I imagine, and I know you don't really like the site that much, but Baseball Trade Value is going to tweet out this is a massive overpay from the Padres, because I just imagine it will be.
Yeah, I mean it is though. I think.
Let's look and
I wouldn't say I don't like that website. I don't like the way people use it.
It's misused.
Yeah, it's just like the side-by-side thing that you can do with
on Baseball Reference, the stat head.
Baseball Reference, yeah, stat head, yeah, that's just.
Look at this. It's so. This is Robbie Snelling gets considered. This is preseason, obviously on MLB. Robbie Snelling was the second ranked prospect in San Diego. Adam Mazur was 4. Graham Pauly was 5, and then Bashirs was 24. So you just got the number 2, 4, 5, and 24 prospect preseason for a closer. It's a really good
And another arm.
turn. Now, I don't
Yeah.
think the Padres system is that good. Don't get me wrong. But
No, it's
they
definitely
somehow,
lower rated now.
yeah, yeah.
Does Tanner
But
Scott
they,
have another year, or is he a free agent?
that's a good question. Let's find out. See if it'll load for me. Sounds
All
like
right,
my
I got
neighbor
the.
just got home and their dogs are barking. So my dog is like, should I bark too? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. So if you hear, I'm sorry. Tanner Scott will be a free agent, according to Spot Track.
Wow.
So they're trading all for 2.5 months of Tanner Scott. It's one of those things. I mean, if you win a World Series, all is all is get forgiven. Um, and it's fine and dandy. But if you man, if you don't, Tanner Scott leaves and you gave the Marlins potentially a couple rotation arms and maybe a position player they put in their lineup every day, it's going to be one of those deals that you can go, what were the Padres doing again?
I mean, they just Preller doesn't care, man. He loves to go all in.
So they've added Snelling, Missouri, Bashir's Polly, De Los Santos, who is kind of positionless defensively, but can hit the ball
But he can
500 feet.
rake, dude. Yeah.
Conveniently, first base just opened up in Miami, which is probably where he could play the best.
Yep.
Probably where he fits the
I
best.
wonder.
They've added.
I wonder how many of these guys we might see this weekend.
I mean, they're probably going to have to call a few of them because they ain't got a team. This makes me, we're talking, and don't get me wrong, they are doing a great job at the deadline, but to play, I guess the Braves fan silver lining here for our sake, not really so because I would be interested to see what happens. Imagine if Jesus Luzardo doesn't get hurt and they're able to actually trade him. They still might be able
Yeah.
to, but imagine if he's healthy at this deadline with what starting pitching is going for at this deadline.
Yeah.
I mean,
They could
they
have
might
got a
really,
king's ransom.
yeah. With what the prices are set at this weekend, I mean, they're getting good stuff already. I'm looking at Miami's roster resource right now, and you can tell this is just the most. You can tell Fangraphs is confused on what to put here. They only have three
Sean,
pitchers listed as their starting rotation because like we don't know who to put here.
I'm just looking at some of the comments. Sean, I personally, in the next hour and a half, I think the Braves are going to have to go get somebody in the middle infield. Second baseman would be ideal. I like Andy Ibanez. And I don't know how available Andy Ibanez is,
Mhm.
but
To
I do
answer
like
the
him.
question of who do we think's pitching for Miami this weekend, Fangraphs has it listed as Roderick Munoz on Thursday, Max Meyer on Friday, Kyle Tyler on Saturday, and Edward Cabrera on Sunday. I don't know how accurate that's going to be because they're going to be changing a lot of things up. But that's what Fangraphs is projecting for your Marlins starting rotation.
Mets just got Tyler Zuber. I'll be honest,
In
I
the Rays.
don't know who that is. But it's just typical Rays for them to have a bunch of guys I've never heard of, and I'm sure he's got a sub 3 ERA or some crazy
Let's look.
stat
I don't
line.
think he does. He does. Dude, okay, so this is crazy. He's a 29-year-old reliever. This is
Yeah,
interesting.
is he a rookie?
Three. He's only thrown 3 innings this year. He pitched back in 2020 with Kansas City and in 2021 with Kansas City. That was his two major league years. In 2020, he had a 4.09 ERA. In 2021, he had a 6.26 ERA. Peripherals are pretty much in line. And then he doesn't pitch at all until 2023 again in AAA for the Diamondbacks. He signs with the Rays this year and had a 2.49 ERA at AAA and 3.1 innings in the major leagues. So he's only pitched 3 innings in the major league since 2021.
Well,
He
they
gave
probably
up
gave up nothing for him then.
1 run. So yeah, it's like a 29-year-old kind of like quad A pitcher. Sounds like just a depth move for the Mets. They just call and say, "Hey, can we get this guy for probably nothing?" Um, John Heyman is saying this is now. Who knows what this actually means? That the Red Sox have been engaging on Luis Renifo pretty hard in the last
Yeah,
few
I see
minutes, but
that.
the talks there's a gap.
Benjamin, I like IKF. I want IKF badly because I think that it would be a really solid get for the Braves to have. I mean, no disrespect to Orlando Arcia. I love Orlando Arcia. For those who don't know, Orlando Arcia actually donated to my daughter's fund, or like to help me and my wife be able to eat and whatever when we were out of town. So I love Orlando Arcia, but I would really be stoked if the Braves got IKF and he could be our shortstop next year. That'd be pretty fantastic. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, everybody wants Brandon Lau.
Yeah, I would like Lau too. 1 second here. I was trying to turn
With
my
good
light on
reason.
from my
You're
app,
good.
and it's not doing it, so we got to turn the light on. 1 second. There we go. A little better. Got more light. I didn't realize this whole time that my light was off because I work in the dark because I work from home.
Oh, you're good.
And I was
I
sitting here
would
looking
probably
at my
be pretty
camera,
dark.
and
I'm in a camper.
it was just getting darker and darker on my side. I was like, I don't have a light on because I just sit at home in the darkness while I work. Sweet. Hey, speaking of the Rays, I can't, and this is like, I don't think it's going to happen at all. I was talking to a buddy, and he said, like, who's like the craziest off the wall guy that you have not heard anyone say? And we were just sitting there looking at it. And the name I came up with is Jose Siri because of the Rays, because he's not a
That's
crazy.
crazy. I thought about Jose Siri.
It was like a few days ago, and I said, Jose Siri has good numbers against left-handed pitching, and he's a really good defender. And the Rays are always willing to sell anybody when they go in the sell mode. And there's a shot there. There's 2 sides to this coin here. There's a shot the Rays will take somebody that's not your top prospect, but then again, you'll watch the Rays turn that guy into a number 3 starter.
Oh yeah,
that you're like, we didn't even know who that guy was in our system. So
yeah. Like if the Braves were to do it, they'd send them like. Now we know who this is because we're Braves fans, but Giancarlo Lara, like
that's actually the name that I
be
said we might get the deal too.
Yeah, like most
Yeah.
people would be like, "Who?" Like, but yeah, that's watch A. Snag Peterson. That would be.
And then you forget about it. And like 3 years later, it's like
job.
the Rays are playing the Braves, like, and the Rays are going to go to their bullpen to close us out. In trots in John Carlos Lara.
Yeah,
he leads
he's
the American League in saves. It's like, wait a second.
102 miles an hour or some shit like that. It'd be, that's how the Rays work.
That was the ultimate sicko trade I could come up with. I was like, kind of makes sense given where both teams are. I don't think it'll happen, like 1% likelihood. But I mean,
I do like Jose Siri, though. And he brings an element of swag to the conversation as well. I mean,
he would be kind of the this year's version of like the Jock Peterson, essentially, in terms of the attitude he would bring. You could easily just platoon him with Jared Kelenic, and even when you don't platoon him when he's sitting in his weak side platoon, you get to the 8th inning, you sub him in defensively somewhere for the 8th and 9th inning with Jose Siri. So I mean, it's all hypothetical, probably not happening. The deadline is at 6 Eastern,
6 p.m.
5 Central time if you're over here in Alabama. just to throw out another random name a buddy and I talked about, and I was gonna say I haven't heard anything on it, but as we know, that could mean the Braves are in on it. Who knows? I mean, perfect change of scenery guy. The Braves have history with trading with this team, and I mean, obviously a personal relationship as well. I mean, maybe they can find a way to get Joe Adele for super cheap and play that platoon role. It'd be
I saw you tweet that yesterday.
It's not the
and
sexiest one, but I mean,
man, I thought
you could
he
argue
was going to
he's
have the year.
yeah, you could argue he's essentially what you would hope Adam Duvall would be, but he's also young enough to maybe you can still unlock something in Joe Adele. So
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen.
The one thing I noticed early on in the year was that Joe Adele kept making a lot of mental errors, and of course it was piss and wash off. So it kind of reminds me of Kelnick. Kelnick has been making a lot of mental errors lately, and I'm like, oof. But I like Joe Adele. He started out really hot.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out.
He's still crushing lefties.
Yeah. Yeah, and Duvall has lost a step defensively as well. So
he's got a place in my heart forever. In my heart, specifically.
Oh, easy. Oh yeah.
In the chat,
I
think IKF is. I think IKF is realistic. I don't know if that was answered, but I don't know if it'll happen. I think it's realistic. I think that's in line with what the Braves might do over the next hour.
Yeah, because he has another year of control, and clearly that was. And we can get into the Soler trade in just a minute, but clearly that was part of the goal with the Soler trade was like, how can we make a move that will impact 2025 and beyond as well? And Soler was certainly that. And I think a move like IKF would impact next year for sure. And shortstop is an area where we could definitely upgrade the team. And I think we all know that 2025 is going to be different. This is a fluky year. The Braves are still in this thing. I mean, even I have been negative at times, being like, what is the point? But I don't know. And then you make a trade for Jorge Soler and it all comes back, and you're like, oh, can we do it again? But I don't know.
Hey,
we'll see how
I've been the delusional confident fan all year. Still, I've still said, I still believe in this team.
I know. I see you tweeting all the time. This team's still going to win the World Series.
They are. I still believe in this team. They are.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you.
And it's going to be a beautiful thing. Because, I mean, jokingly though, it's hard to win a World Series. Sorry, I was reading that comment there. It's hard to win a World Series, but the thing I've been saying is everything that could possibly go wrong for the Braves has pretty much went wrong this year that you could line up, and they're still first in the wild card. And that just kind of tells you, one, how high the floor is with this roster. Yep. Yeah, sure, we want this team to be better, and it's frustrating watching this team currently at times. But it just shows you, in my opinion, the floor of this roster. That even with everything that could possibly go wrong,
the floor.
Maybe there's a little bit worse it could be, sure.
I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's proven that I think there's some teams out there that if they were in the position the Braves were in, their fans would be like, hey, this is a big year for us. We've taken a step forward. And we're frustrated as Braves fans because they haven't looked like the Braves all year. It's been a frustrating, outside of the first 2 weeks of the season, it's been the offense has been at times very, 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 very frustrating to watch. And we're still in a position that a lot of teams are envious of, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Mets. The Mets are a half game behind us. and like you can see the different expectations in
Mhm.
in each organization, right? The Braves were supposed to be we were supposed to win 105 games, and everything that could go wrong went wrong, and now we're half game up in the wild card with for the top wild card spot. But for the Mets, it was supposed to be a down year, and every move they made in the offseason went fantastically. I mean,
Mhm.
Severino, Bader, like Jose Iglesias has like a
JD Martinez.
158 weighted runs created plus. Yeah, JD
Yeah.
Martinez, like every move went perfect. And now they're a half game behind us, but we are pissed off and
Mhm.
upset. And they are living the fucking
Yeah.
life. And it
Mhm.
just shows you that, like you said, the absolute floor of this team is insane. But
Yeah.
next year will be different. But no reason we can't give it hell this year and see what happens.
I mean, as we've seen, not just from the Braves perspective, really and truly, you just got to make it to the postseason and hope it gets hot. And I mean, last year the Diamondbacks almost won a World Series with a roster that had no business being there because they got hot. You know, um, the Phillies the year before, the
Yep.
Phillies in 2022 were playing like how the Braves have played all year so far this year, and they got hot the last week or so and almost won a World Series if it's not for Jordan Alvarez hitting a massive home run in the World Series. You know, and then of
Mm-hmm.
course the Nationals did this in 2019. So you just got to find a way to get to the postseason sometimes.
Yeah, the wild card, especially now, early wild card era, like it was basically like if you won the wild card, you basically won a division, right? Because you didn't have to win your way into anything. But since 2012, when we went to a wild card game, it's changed everything. Like you see a bunch of wild card teams and second wild card teams and third wild card teams making it to the World Series. And I don't think that was ever really expected, but that's
Mm,
what's become because, like you said, team gets hot and they're in. Oh God, is
yeah,
X down? That would be
yeah, it's like being
catastrophic
slow.
right now.
It's being slow. I think there's
Oh,
so many people
wonderful.
going crazy. I know I see. I know Jordan has talked about him a lot, and I have too. Drake Baldwin being an interesting trade piece. I think he is. I personally, and don't get me wrong, I know Nacho has not played well the last week. I had already personally, and I'm not a prospect expert by any means. I had already said Drake Baldwin was the top position prospect in the minor in the system,
Yeah,
position player wise. And I said there's arguably a case he's the best prospect in the Brave system right now, based on how he's improved. Um, the issue with that is the Braves have Sean Murphy locked up for a while and Travis d'Arnaud. So yeah, I think he is an interesting trade piece. I don't know if he's going to get moved today at this point, but it would not
I'd be
shock me if
shocked
he
if he
is
makes it
traded.
through the offseason.
Yeah, I I honestly think if because I think Schwellenbach is technically graduated now. Um, I think
Mm-hmm.
there is a argument that Drake Baldwin is the number one prospect in the Brave system.
I
So
I
I
100% agree with that. I got to
I
see
think
this
he's
kid play
easily the
live.
best position player. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. When we had that the Brave
The
social
Gwinnett night.
media day at Gwinnett, which was amazing. Like Gwinnett, fucking dude, they went above and beyond on everything. Like we got to go down in the dugout. We got to meet Zach Logue, uh, Nacho, and Drake Baldwin. Drake Baldwin's hilarious, by the way. Just a funny ass kid. So, but anyways, and Drake Baldwin hit a home run that day, opposite field,
Mhm.
tank, and there's just something special about that kid, dude. He rakes. It's
His
crazy.
exit velos is through the roof in AAA. The biggest
Yep.
issue they've said for him well, there's two, but one's not as big of an issue for the position he plays. We'll start with that one, is his speed, because they don't think he can come off
Mhm.
catcher. They don't think he's fast enough to even attempt left field. I think he maybe a team might try it one day, but they say he's a true catcher by speed. But the biggest thing has been his launch angle, is trying to get that launch angle a little bit,
Yeah.
more in the air at times. But they say he hits the ball about as hard as you could possibly hit it for a kid
He
for
does.
his
He
age.
crushes it. I saw, and I can't remember what the stat was, but it was like some crazy stat about hard hit rate versus like contact rate or something like that. And I wish I would have saved the tweet now, but it was like MLB and AAA, and it was like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Drake Baldwin. And it was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, that's not supposed to be real. But yeah, that he's impressive. And I think that, like you said, I personally agree he should be the number one prospect in the organization. But I'm a little bit lower on some of the pitching prospects than other people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like Smith-Shawver. I like Waldrop, but just not there.
I have been one of the guys that said for years that, and it might be just because I like prospects. And yeah, I think M here said, he says Shawver might be one on his high ceiling. Yeah, you're not wrong. I understand the complete reason you would put Smith Shawver, at number one if you're making the prospect list today still. Like I said, I think Drake Baldwin came into this year, nobody would have said it, and I think there is an argument to be made now, but I don't disagree with you. If you put AJ Smith Shawver or even Waldrop still at number one, because like I said, I think Schwellenbach is technically graduated.
Yeah.
I would completely understand why somebody would still put AJSS or Waldrop there at number one. But man, Baldwin has just really taken a big step forward. And then I saw that as well. The Yankees and Astros are apparently the final two teams making a push on Yandy Diaz. I saw the Pirates are apparently out of it for Diaz.
How did I do this? I'm missing a lot of these. Is Alex Anthopoulos asleep? I can promise you that Alex Anthopoulos is not asleep. He is. Schwelly is the next Strider. I'm gonna refrain from saying what I'm thinking, but Schwelly is. That kid impresses the fuck out of me.
I know that you were very high on Schwellenbach. I know you were very high on Schwellenbach coming into the year. I was too. We talked about it. I know we talked about it, and I told you, I said, he finds a way to just figure out how to miss bats because he hasn't done it very much the lower level. His ceiling goes higher, but he's doing everything else right. And we were both talking about it. You were high. You were extremely high on him. I said he starts missing bats, and this kid's going to be, going crazy. And what did he start doing? He found a way to miss bats.
Yeah, the thing that made me love him was he didn't miss the bats that I wanted to see him miss, but he's starting to. But it was the walks. Like a lot of these guys, Waldrop, Smith-Shawver, like every guy that comes up, Anderson had the same problem. Even Strider, to an extent, had an issue with walks when he first came up. And walks are a problem. Schwelly has never had that problem. And he just impressed the hell out of me. And then he impressed them because they took him straight from. Did he even throw at Mississippi?
Yes.
He made like one start, right? Maybe two?
One or two. I think it was like he got called to Gwinnett, and then they said, no, we're just, keep on coming to Atlanta type deal.
Yeah. Yep, they did.
I think that's what it was.
He was working out in Gwinnett, and they were like,
yeah, like he was going to make his debut. Like he had already been told he was getting called up. They hadn't announced it yet. Yeah, he threw 13 innings in Double-A, so made 2 starts, and he never pitched in Gwinnett. So yeah, that's what it was. He got to Mississippi. They said, hey, you look good enough in these two. We'll send you to Triple-A, and then they got him to Gwinnett and said, you know what? Never mind. Let's just bring you along to Atlanta already.
That's Alex Anthopoulos and his aggressiveness to move pitchers, especially pitchers. I mean, he did it with Strider. Like, Strider had missed all of 2020 with, recovering from Tommy John. And I think he only had like 60 innings or something like that. And he's competing for a spot in the bullpen on the 2021 team. Like, that's just, most teams don't do that. And the Braves do that a lot. Anthony top.
Yeah, awesome. They have.
Scratch from the minor league lineup.
Yeah, a lot of people are reporting that now.
I wonder if that's related to the Rengifo.
I've joked for a couple of years now that if I was a AA or AAA manager, I would like randomly scratch top players or pull them like in the 5th or 6th inning. That would probably get me fired, but just on trade deadline days. Why is Drake Baldwin getting removed in the 7th inning?
Yeah, I know. It would be fun. Well, you saw like people freaked out thinking, wait, no plans to move Vladdy. I thought that said something else. You saw yesterday Christian Walker came out of the game because he got injured, and
everybody was like,
a bunch of people were like, "Oh, is he getting traded?" I'm like, "Why? Why would they trade their best hitter?"
Yeah,
it wouldn't make any sense.
Besides the Josh Bell trade, has the Diamondbacks made a move yet, buying or selling?
They added somebody in the bullpen, but I can't remember who.
Yeah, I think it was a bullpen guy. Because I saw somebody say, "Oh, I guess the Diamondbacks are buying because they got Josh Bell." I was like, I think that was just kind of convenient that he got DFA'd or put on waivers, the same day as Walker got hurt type deal. I think they were just trying to find somebody that could play first base for him.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, Josh Bell's not a bad get either. I mean, he's been on a heater lately too.
Have we given up on Garrett Crochet? With there being so little smoke around it, it's starting to feel like he might not get moved.
Yeah, well, that's what Heyman said about an hour ago on MLB Network. He said that he doesn't seem very confident about it.
And of course, there's still time to get things done. We don't know how close these things are. I think I understand if the White Sox don't move Robert, or Lou Bob, whatever you want to call him here, because I think his value you could potentially rehab a lot of his value. I don't see
it's
Crochet's value being higher than it is. Yeah.
No.
I don't see Crochet's value ever getting really higher than what it is right now. Unless he just tears it up the next 2 months.
AJ Puck. The Diamondbacks
got AJ they got AJ Puck. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You for that.
Thank you. As I say, Diamondbacks haven't really done a whole lot though. So it's kind of like they're in a weird spot. But I think if the White Sox don't moving Crochet, I think that's a big mistake for them because you're not going to compete within the next 2 years of that organization.
Nope.
Unless something crazy, some miraculous happens. Maybe something miraculous happens, but I find it hard to think they're going to compete within 2 years.
Yeah, and Jarrett Rowell, you're right, dude. The A's not moving Brooker is just I don't know. That organization, they can't do anything right.
I didn't hear that about the angry fall tone on that. If that's true, that's funny.
Yeah. Wait, what? What did I miss?
He said there was a report saying Griefall reportedly told the players it's the worst season ever, and it's on nobody but the players. I don't know if I hope that's true. It's kind of funny. It's so that's like the White Sox in general. They're saying Roman Anthony was never actually in the lineup today. He was a scheduled day off, so he wasn't actually scratched.
And that's why trade deadline season is so fun because we overthink that crap.
Yeah. But going back to Rooker, I think the Athletics thought that they were going to get a lot more for a bat-only DH, and the market wasn't what they thought they were. And then they kind of maybe tried to bluff a little bit and say, okay, we're not going to move them, and see if anybody would come up on their price, and nobody did. That's at least what it feels like to me. Who knows? But
okay. I was so confused by you for a second, Coop. I didn't know what the hell I was reading.
Yeah, I
there.
was looking at too. I know people. And I guess we can finally talk about it. I know we were going to. I know it's your show, but I'll bring us back all the way around.
Yeah.
You know, people were wanting Rooker, and then we got Soler, and you see what the market was
Oh
for
my
Jorge
god.
Soler at DH. I don't understand being completely upset by that. I'm not saying it's a grand slam trade by any means, but like they didn't give up really anything for it. Um, I was not a huge fan of Saban Ceballos. I'm not sure how the last name is pronounced. Um,
Yeah.
but and yeah, he should play DH, and you have Marcell Ozuna, so that's weird. But he's played the outfield in Truist before, so even though he's a bad defender, he is familiar with the outfield, and he's a good vibes guy. Yes, power, all that. I know you saw it. We talked about it a little. Right now, as soon as he puts on a Braves uniform, he will have the highest walk rate on the team, which is
Yeah.
something the Braves desperately need. They're tied for 24th in the lead in walk rate.
They have been really bad when it comes to walking.
Yeah, and would you like Renifo and Ward? Thoughts, boys? I would be okay with Ward if the price makes sense. I'm not as big on Renifo. It's one of those things. It depends on what it costs to get him.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm right there. I like Ward. His expected stats say that he should be better than he is, and he's already kind of good. So that entices me. Renhefo, I don't not like Renhefo. I like his versatility. The bat is a lot of smoke and mirrors. The expected stats and the peripherals are not great, but he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've liked Mark Kanye. I've said it would be the most boring move they could make.
It would, but it would make so much sense.
He
and
crushes lefties. He's a pure rental.
Yeah, and it would be like just heartbreaking to Mets fans because they just love that guy so much.
Absolute pure rental. And then that's what it's gonna be. We're gonna get that blue screen of death and nobody that we've named 75,000 people.
Wait, what do you mean Drake Baldwin's not starting tonight? Baldwin was in the lineup earlier.
See, this is what I would do if I was a AAA manager. I would change the lineup like 6 times before the game.
Yeah, hey, I specifically looked at the lineup earlier, and Baldwin was in the lineup.
For Brady's question, I do like the versatility of Renifo. Don't get me wrong. And I understand why people like him. I guess for him, it would just have to be what it is, like cost-wise for me. Like if they're trading like AJ Smith-Shawver or like Owen Murphy for him, I'm going to be like, what are we doing? But, if they trade someone at the lower end, like mid-level prospect, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, let's go for it. It makes sense to me.
Brian De La Cruz just went to the Pirates.
Yeah, I saw there was a lot of smoke around that today.
Yeah, there was.
They were apparently really big on Taylor Ward, so it's starting to make me feel like they're off of Ward now.
Yep. Drake Baldwin 100% was in the lineup.
We're going to bring Kate Upton to Atlanta finally, Josh.
Okay, Kate Upton.
He saw something wrong.
Oh, God. Jeez, man. All right. Okay. Damn. You got me hyped for a second because that would mean big things.
That's the 6th player. Craig Mish says earlier they've traded 5 players. Now De La Cruz, that's 6 players the Marlins have traded off their 26-man roster today, I guess, or in the last 24 hours. So, and we're about to start a 4-game series with them after the Brewers, so we'll see how that goes. Is that game in it? Those games in Atlanta? Are they in? They're in Atlanta. Okay.
What with the Marlins?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in.
Looks like it's in Atlanta. Yeah.
Ben Verlander said it's not even over yet, but the Miami Marlins have won the trade deadline. He's right. He's right.
I mean,
it's incredible.
We'll see what they gave up, what the Pirates gave up. Tamar Johnson injured himself. He got pulled her, and that's like the Pirates number 2
Pirates
prospect.
Pirates gave up Suk Shim,
No idea.
right-handed pitcher.
Arson
I
Judge.
don't know. I probably pronounced
How
that
soon,
wrong.
Ryan? I hope it's today. I hope right now Scooble to Atlanta. I've been crying for Scooble to Atlanta for like 3 years, and then he became a Cy Young candidate.
Yeah.
When
I
it was like
said
2 years ago when it came out that the Tigers might consider trading Scooble, I was like, please, Braves, call, make the call.
Yeah.
What's it take? Because I think this guy's going to be good.
he's nasty, man. I remember I said that earlier or like last offseason, I said, like, I just listed like a bunch of pitchers that I called under the radar, but what I meant was like pitchers that Braves fans don't pay any attention to. And I listed Tariq Skubal, and I got lit up over that. It's just like, that's not what I meant. But that guy, he's special. He's probably going to win the Cy Young. Nightingale might have just leaked
30. Well, that could mean so many things.
Yeah, that could mean Nightingale.
That means he's been traded somewhere else. Hey, yes, you're right, Ryan. I am selfish because I have Tariq Skubal in my dynasty league, so would just love to put him on the Braves roster so I can cheer for him twice.
Shim was the Pirates' number 17 prospect. What's going on here? Yep. That's interesting. That was one guy I kind of was interested in, was Brian De La Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just nobody. And I think that's why the Braves went the Soler route, is because there's really not a lot of like platoon partners that would fit with what we've got. Like Duvall does still crush left-handed pitching. You can't argue that. Eddie Rosario doesn't really crush anybody.
In those two moves, Jesus Sanchez better than Brian De La Cruz. I mean, that's probably fair.
That is a piece that would make a lot of sense for the Braves, but it would definitely mean that Eddie Rosario is gone.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the Braves are reluctant to do that.
Yeah. Who do you think? I feel like I say this, when Soler is ready, it's probably Ramon Laureano. Or is it? Well, it could be Luke Williams. Well, no. Because Luke's the shortstop, the infield backup as well. So it's probably Ramon, right? When Soler's ready, if he's there tonight. I mean, I guess you could say Luke Williams.
I just assumed it was Luke Williams. Because, technically
is
right
only
now...
infield backup we have? Isn't he the only infield back?
Unless you want to count Witt.
Oh, we do have Witt. So, it might be Luke.
Whit Merrifield will probably go to the IL then, right?
That would make sense.
That would make sense.
Yeah. It's probably Witt or Luke. Then I forgot that because Witt, tore his finger up 10 minutes after signing a contract with the Braves. Yeah. So I just forgot he's on the team.
2024 just got him as soon as he got here.
Yeah. We do have to clear a 40-man for them, I guess. We only got to clear one 40-man. No, we should. Well, no, was Matzuk was on the 60-day. So, we got to clear one 40-man,
was on the 60-day. Yeah, so we'll have to clear 40-man.
Because Vines clears one, so we have to clear one 40-man spot. I think they still have a few guys that could go to the 60-day, though, that haven't gone.
I think they do. Honestly,
so
Ozzy should go to the 60-day, right? He's going to miss 8 weeks at least.
Let's take a look and see here.
40-man was at – Timothy just said 40-man's at 38. So there's no 40-man that needed. That's perfect.
I'm just looking now anyways to see anybody that could go. The only option really to go to the 60-man would be Ozzy. If somebody went, everybody else has been put on the 60.
Garrett Forrester will also be part
So
of
it was
the
at
deal
39
for.
before Bynes got removed.
Okay.
I like
Ozzy is
Bynes. I
already
just hope
on the
Lee Trent's
60
like a
day.
bullpen
I
arm.
didn't realize that.
They're not saying he's on the 60 day on this list here. But
What's up, Colleen?
he is listed on the 10 day on both Fangraphs and on MLB's roster. If it matters
I didn't
for
think
Ozzy.
he was
Hey,
60.
Colleen, you were supposed to be here.
Yeah, right. That's kind of my fault. I should have.
He's here. Grant McCauley's here. What do you know?
I see. Oh, hey.
Grant McCauley says he's not on the 60.
Ozzy is
Thank you,
not on a
Grant.
60-day. Grant, you're fantastic.
There's no shot you're not already following Grant McCauley, but if you're not, that's who you should follow. If you're not following him somehow already. Somehow got John Lester in the chat. That's crazy.
Huh? Who? You say John Lester?
Yeah, Grant McCauley. John Lester.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't mind Reed Detmers. I think that Detmers is in a pretty horrible organization for developing pitching. So, seems like somebody the Braves could fix.
Let's see here. They're also getting the Marlins is this. They're also getting Garrett Forrester.
Yeah. Again,
So let's see.
not someone I'm familiar with, but you know prospects better than I do.
I don't know them that well. That is the number 17 and 18 prospects preseason wise, at least MLB pipeline. Forrester is listed as a first baseman, third baseman, and catcher. Let's just look and see how he's doing while we're waiting. He is in high A. He's a 22-year-old and hang on, just A ball. My apologies. He's hitting 273 with a 413 on base and a 382 slug. So not a lot of power being shown, really. Good walk
Yeah,
rate.
he's pretty young. Looks like he just got moved up to A ball about a month ago too. So yeah,
he was drafted last year in the third round, so he is actually he was drafted last season by the Pirates in the third round. So he's a college bat. Hey, Angel, is this my Mets fan? My Mets friend, Angel? Is this my favorite Mets follow? I follow you on like both of your accounts.
See some of the prices for pitching.
If it is, how do you feel about the Mets so far? Yes, it is him. Let's go. How do you feel about? Let me know in the chat. How do you feel about Blackburn,
I was just about to ask
Angel?
What you thought about that? Yeah,
I'm not a huge Paul Blackburn fan. I was actually talking to Ryan. I don't know if he's still in the chat about it. I'm not a huge Paul Blackburn fan, but like for the Mets, that's a pretty good deal. I don't know what they gave up. I never saw it, but
number 26 prospect.
Okay, yeah, then perfect. I mean, that for what they needed, that's a pretty good deal in my opinion.
Yeah,
he's nothing special, but like Ryan was saying, they're going to start like Jose Butto. So it's like,
oh, they are moving.
It keeps Butto back in the blend.
Because he struggled.
So. That's what Ryan was telling me. Ryan was telling me all this. So
interesting. That and the Winker move, man, that's a pretty good one. I thought Winker was a pure platoon guy, but he's not. I didn't realize.
I was kind of wanting Winker for the Braves. So.
Well, I did too, but I wanted him as a platoon guy. I didn't realize he's basically average against left-handed pitching as well. So That's a pretty
I
good
agree
get
with
for the
what you're
Mets.
saying, Angel. With everything going on, getting Blackburn for what you gave up is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what some of these other prices are, I think you're right.
Yeah, they did really well considering, the Orioles gave up a ton to get Trevor Rogers. And really, Trevor Rogers isn't that much better than Paul Blackburn.
How crazy was it that just like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, I'm bad with time, that we were like, you guys think maybe we can get Justin Verlander? Looks like the Astros are going to sell. And now they're like, hey, we're just going to win the
Oh,
division
yeah.
again, probably.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
We're just going to
We
casually
should
go
have
win the
all known
division
that
again.
was
Don't
coming.
worry.
I don't think we're going to overpay for
The
anybody.
Pittsburgh Pirates have just made a trade.
Again?
They got IKF. The Pirates did.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the one that we were kind of holding out hope for, maybe like a
That's the one I
small
really
deal.
wanted.
But
Damn.
Pirates get him.
So they ended
Here's a
up getting
question
2
for you.
bats like everybody thought they would.
Yeah. How am I going to feel if we don't make another move? If they didn't have acquired Soler, I would have been kind of frustrated because I think you always have to make some kind of move at the deadline. I think standing pat is maybe the worst thing you can do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And at the very least, you have to make, if you think your team can win, you have to make at least one deal to show the clubhouse that, hey, the front office believes in you. So,
yeah. And the Soler deal, let's not. I'm sorry. Let's not overlook how much of an upgrade Soler is either. And
yes.
he also allows so he allows us to move back to like a platoon with Duvey and Rosario or Duvey and Kelnick. And we could even do a platoon in center field of Laureano and Kelnick if we hang on to Laureano. So it really does a lot for the outfield, just that one piece. But personally,
and it really
I want
helps
to
once you get
fielder.
Yeah, it really helps when you get Michael Harris back too, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's when and hopefully Harris comes back, sometime in August. He hasn't even started sprinting yet, though, I don't think, so that's a little worrisome. But with what Beans was saying there, I think once you get everything he's saying and then you add Michael Harris, that makes that outfield a little more presentable as a major league outfield in a way. But I'm with him. I think I would be a touch disappointed if there's not another deal. But with the prices that are apparently out there, I would be a little worried as well about what the discussion is. And then to add, Angel said that the Braves are trade deadline buzzer beaters, and you are correct, Angel.
They are.
The Braves are
They
notorious
did it in 21. In 21, they did it with Soler, actually. And
he was 30 minutes after it was announced.
Yep, and Richard Rodriguez.
And then Iglesias in 2022 was announced like 7 minutes after the deadline.
Yep. And then Alex said they almost pulled one off last year right at the deadline, but it didn't. They couldn't get the paperwork in enough time. And I wonder, the more I think about that, I wonder if that was Bummer, because he said he tried to get Bummer at the deadline and it just didn't work out. And then he ended up getting him soon as the
that's a good point.
winter started.
That is good. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good point. That might have been who it was. Angel, I'm with you as well. I thought Jack Flaherty would have been traded by now. I could see it being Eduardo Rodriguez too, Colleen. I am shocked that Flaherty. I thought Flaherty was going to get traded like at noon today. I just figured that was going to be the trade that kind of broke the dam for some reason. And then all the trades
getting traded yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like the first guy either late last night or this morning type deal to get moved, and I'm just shocked he hasn't for some reason. And if I understand why the Tigers would not trade Scooble, I don't know necessarily why they wouldn't trade Flaherty. So I just feel like that one's going to happen. I mean, but Jared, could you kind of blame the teams if you're the Tigers and you see what Tanner Rogers got? Now, don't get me wrong, Rogers has 2 years of control attached to it, but still, don't you kind of go, "Hey, listen, you want Jack Flaherty? He's actually pitching well this year. I get he's a rental, but you know, you see the prices everyone else is paying, so
Yeah. I mean, look at what the Astros gave up for Kikuchi yesterday. That's a pure rental.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he's not had a good year.
no,
And
he's had
for
like
a guy like
he's had
Flaherty,
like a 6 ERA, 7 ERA over the last month.
it would be insane if they didn't get back at least what the Astros gave up. I mean, they have to get back more than that because, like I said, Kikuchi hasn't had a good year. I think he's got a 4.57 ERA, and I mean, trust me, I'm the biggest ERA hater there is, but 4.5 ERA, that means things haven't gone well.
Yeah. Here's a random hypothetical while we hope another trade pops out of here. I hope another pitcher. I feel like another pitcher's on the way for the Braves. I know pitching's been great this year, but I agree with Timothy. I don't think you can ever have enough. I wouldn't hate if the Braves don't do it because I do think I trust AJ Smith-Shawver and maybe Walter if he gets it figured out to kind of handle that 5th, 6th spot, kind of a rotating spot. But I would still like a veteran innings eater type guy at the least. Maybe a Flaherty would be pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm afraid his cost is high. I think his cost is too high. But here's a random hypothetical for you. How do you think Jeff Passan is it Passan or Passan? It's Passan, isn't it?
I say passing, yeah. I think he says passing.
How do you think he gets the information? And like here's the question. Like,
I was laying in bed thinking this last night.
Does he I was like, do you think he gets like a text or does he get like CC'd on the email to the league office or
So I kind of have a little bit of like idea how this happens because Robert Murray does his podcast, Baseball Insiders. If you guys have not checked that podcast out, it's been fantastic leading up to the deadline. In the off season, it's amazing. Robert Murray will literally break news on there. It happens all the time. Like, it's crazy. But Robert Murray will just, like, he just tells you, like, yeah, like, hold on, I'm getting a text. Let me see what this text says. And then he'll be like last week, he was like, hold on, I got a text. And he looks at it and he's like, oh, yeah, James Paxton just got DFA'd. And it's just like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I've been waiting on confirmation, but I just got confirmation James Paxton was DFA'd.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. Like you said, like Passan will just get a text from somebody.
Maybe he's like CC'd on the email to the league. He said, hey, Robert, we traded IKF to the Pirates today, and Passan's just like BCC'd on it. He gets the notification. Yeah. He gets to tweet it.
He's like copy.
Here's the other
paste.
question. How soon after the deal? So okay, the Pirates traded IKF. How he tweets that at 4:00, whatever. How soon after? Or my bad. Let me back. I'm said that wrong. The Pirates trade IKF at 4:00, right on the dot. How soon does Passan get the news? Does he get it like at 4:00, or is it like, oh, it's 4:02? Like surely it can't be like right away, right? I don't know. This is just random things I've thought about in the last couple of days. Like Pauline says she's thought this too. So
I think about it all the time. I like because it clearly has to be something. Who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Charles McAdoo was the return for IKF. Number 29 prospect. Come on, Braves.
Could have done that.
Could have beat that.
Cody Milligan would have looked nice in Toronto. Yeah, you're right, Angel. Yeah. The Braves and Dodgers rarely really leak anything. I will say, people say, oh, if you hear the Braves are in on somebody, it means they're not. I don't fully buy that because that could mean the other team's leaking it. because the two big deals the Braves have made with the Athletics over the last couple of years, Olsen and Murphy, you never heard anything about the Braves on that side, but there was reports that the Braves had called upon Olsen and Murphy. So that just tells me somebody in the Athletics organization is feeding those reporters something. But like the Braves you never really heard anything about Soler back in the day. You didn't hear it this year either. So at all until it happened.
Well, but Passan did break that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was
so like
shocking to me.
You might hear something about the Braves, but it's probably not coming from the Braves side of things, just because of how Alex runs things, which is a complete 180 from what old Copy used to do.
Yeah. Speaking of Copy, this is crazy. I was just about to say to Colleen, because she said she'd like to see a documentary of what it looks like this week for a GM. Copy put out an article last week, and he basically told you like minute by minute, almost basically like 5-minute increments of what a trade deadline looks like for a GM, and it's fucking crazy. I'll have to find it and like retweet it, but it was fascinating to read. And it's fascinating that John Coppola was the one writing it as well. I think it was through Yahoo Sports.
I saw it. I didn't get to read it. I meant to save it. And then I did no, I know what it was. It was when you open Twitter up nowadays, you know how like you get that first tweet and you're trying to read it and then it for some reason refreshes immediately without you touching it. That's what happened to me, and I could not find it.
I'm trying to think.
I would I saw somebody say they should do like the Hard Knocks version, like how they do with the NFL, but they should just put like a documentary crew to following the GMs at the trade deadline. But there's just no way the GMs would ever want to agree to that.
No,
at the deadline.
But
as fun as that would be, the GMs would never want to do that.
No, because you're spilling their secrets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're making them all look like, oh, that's crazy.
On Hard Knocks, they actually showed a trade discussion between the Panthers and the Giants, and it was kind of interesting. The Giants allowed that to kind of be shown, because I would think you wouldn't want it, but like it was kind of funny, and they were talking like it was almost a fantasy football trade. They were talking about Brian Burns, who the Giants traded for, and that might have been why they were okay with it, because the deal actually happened. But he just walked up to him. He goes, "So, a first and what else gets me Brian Burns?" like just walked up to him in like the combine. So Brian Burns, a first rounder,
just straight
and
up
this year,
just like that.
Yeah, they were just talking. Like he just walked up to him at the combine. I was like, "First rounder and what?" He goes, "Maybe 2 first rounders." He goes, "I don't know if I can do 2 first." They were just. I was like, "This is like 2 guys talking about a fantasy football trade."
Yeah. Sitting around a beer, yeah.
And it's like
Craig Mish.
And he's like,
Craig Mish just said, "Oh my God, more trades coming. This is wild." So the Marlins must be just cleaning house.
Who did they trade? You said, or
he didn't say. He just said more trades coming. This is wild.
Oh yeah, this is wild. That makes me think that it's a big one.
Yeah, it kind of does.
And then another reporter just said it. Christina De Nicola just says it's impending. So it's like she's the Marlins coverage for MLB.com. So she's made it seem like the deal is already in place. Angel, we actually talked about Luzardo earlier today. I guess before you jumped in, we said, imagine what the Marlins could have got for Luzardo if he was healthy. I mean, maybe you could still get him for get something good with the prices out there, but imagine what Jesus Luzardo would have gotten healthy this year.
A lot. There's still part of me that's like, what could we get for Ian Anderson? or like, what could we get? What could we get for Bryce Elder?
Nellie here is making an appearance. This is my dog Nellie. She's got a Braves collar.
What's up, Nellie? What's
Show
up?
your collar off. There she is.
Yeah.
She wanted to come over and say hey. Luzardo, I think, is a free agent, though, is he not, Ryan? You said he goes in the offseason, but isn't he a free agent?
I don't
Ain't
think
this his
so.
last year? I thought it was his last year.
think
Maybe he's got 1 year left.
I think he has 2 years left.
Who am I getting mixed up in? Let me look.
Now
Let's find out.
I could be completely
I
wrong.
might have got him mixed up with somebody.
Mets just got Huascar Brazabon from the Marlins. That's a really good get from the Mets. Really.
So it's not as
get.
like crazy big as we were like thinking it might be, but still pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Nothing like we were like, oh man, is something crazy about to happen? But it's a really good gift for the Mets.
We'll have to see what they gave up though.
Yeah, Luzardo's got 2 more years. I'm thinking of somebody else. That's my fault. I don't know who I'm thinking of. Nelly says,
like I said,
"Hey, Colleen."
Yeah, Angel, you're right. Brazabon's a fantastic gift for the Mets. Mets needed bullpen help bad. That's a really good one. I saw a Marlins fan tweet out his Savant profile today. And if you've not seen what his Savant profile looks like, it is something else. Colleen, I'm trying to find that post.
Ooh. How would you feel, Angel, before we give our response? How would you feel if it is Brett Beatty going back to the Marlins? Since you brought him up. I don't know if that's the return. How would you feel, though, if that is the return? As a Marlins fan, before we tell what we think. He hasn't said anything yet. I'm waiting.
Honestly,
maybe it's like a really long explanation. He's like getting in his feelings. Awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it would suck,
I'm
but
sorry.
He's one of those guys that I feel like it's like, he could be easily one of those guys that were like, oh, change of scenery might help him, Not Colleen, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to find this. Wait, why don't what the fuck am I doing? Hold on.
Freddie Freeman with power for Browse, man. It's crazy.
Wow.
Pretty good yet for the Marlins. How do you feel, though, Angel, while Jordan looks us up about Mark Vientos? I want to point out that I believed in Mark Vientos' bat because I got him in my it's Daniel Alvarez Montez. That's what they're saying. But I got Vientos in my Dynasty League, and he's worked out pretty well. I'm shocked Yandy Diaz has not been traded yet with how much smoke there's been.
It might be a bidding war going on. Because he's a good player,
Daniel Alvarez Montez is the tweet.
Okay.
Marlins are getting Wilfredo Lara.
I don't know who
Wilfredo Lara, who the return is for Brazabon. How does that make you feel, Angel? It's Wilfredo Lara. I don't even know who that is. So doesn't sound like you gave up a whole lot. It looks like maybe another good small deal. 22nd ranked prospect. He's a outfield third base. He's hitting 244 in high A, 244, 349 on base, 343 slug, so 692 OPS.
Colleen, I posted that article and I tagged you in it so you can go see it. What? Well, we got 17 minutes till the deadline.
Perry should be doing what Bendix is doing. Yes.
Yes. He should. I don't understand what they are doing.
We've talked about this for years. The Baltimore Orioles are acquiring Eloy Jimenez.
Holy crap. Okay.
There we go.
Sorry, my sister.
That could be a solid get for them if they can keep him healthy.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder why. I kind of can't believe. I know they had the 3-team trade, but I kind of can't believe that the White Sox haven't done more. Well, okay, they did trade Paul DeJong.
Yeah. But that 3-team trade, I'm glad you brought it back up. They should have gotten more.
They should have. They got fleeced.
They're really banking on Miguel Vargas turning into what everybody thought Miguel Vargas could have been about a year ago.
I guess so.
But still, Ryan and I were actually the ones talking about this. They could have split those guys up and gotten more.
They could have. Mark Feinsand just said that it appears the Rays will not be trading Yandy Diaz. So that answers your question just now.
Him and Flaherty were the two I've seen the most. Ryan says, imagine if they could have gotten the package for UC that they did for Fetty. I don't know. They have another year for Fetty.
Somebody just commented on something I said, and they said, "You sure today was timing? Only a few minutes, and A hasn't done jack shit." And it's like, yeah, but you just said it. There's only a few minutes left. He's done that multiple times, and you know what? He may not do anything else, but I don't know. People overreact so much.
Yandy Diaz feels more like an off-season move.
Jackson Holiday was scratched.
They're saying he was being called up to the major league roster again, so some people are saying, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
I haven't seen that, but that's what somebody in the chat said. Yes, they can be posted after. The deal has to be done by 6, but the Braves posted the Jorge Soler trade at 34 minutes after the trade deadline, which is crazy that nobody in the industry got a whiff of that for the 34 minutes the deadline was over. By the way, Speaking of which, not even Passan got his hands on that. Did anybody else see, and I don't know how true it was, because it felt kind of baitish, but that Yandy Diaz and Randy Arozarena apparently did not get along in Tampa Bay. Did y'all see that? Some people were saying they did not get along very well and that their wives hated each other. And it was an actual Royals podcast account saying that. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like we would have heard more about this. I saw it. I haven't seen anyone else say anything about it since. I was just curious if anybody else saw that tweet.
Wait. David McCabe is back? Did you know that?
Oh, is he healthy again?
Yeah, Mississippi just said welcome to Double-A, David McCabe. So
I hope
apparently,
so. He's an older prospect, so he needs to be on the field.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of power. He's got. He reminds me so much of Slug Bauer. Somebody
just said Airbud just moved into the top 5 of the Padres prospect system because they've traded everybody away. I don't know why that made me laugh, but
that's funny.
Somebody's trying to say Jackson Holiday's probably included in the Eloy trade. And if that is the case,
Phillies just got Tanner Banks from the White Sox.
Okay. I'm with you, Angel. I think that is a really good trade. Looking at it, all the things about with Brosabon having so much control and then giving up what doesn't seem to be a whole lot at the time. Maybe the Marlins figure it out. I'm with you.
I think it's
that's one of the best trades so far, I think.
And they didn't give up.
Speaking of which, while we're waiting on, what do we think right now is the best? What would we say is the best trade so far? Anybody? What do y'all think has been the best trade so far? And it can be either side. It doesn't have to be a buyer. It can be, if you want to just say the Marlins, they are, but we've talked about them winning several trades already.
Can I be honest? And I'm not being biased here. I think the Soler deal is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
because the Braves didn't give up anything really. Okay. I mean, Ceballos he is what he is.
Yeah,
but
I like a few of the answers we're seeing.
Tanner
like the
Scott
answers.
was a
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Tanner Scott for the Marlins, that was phenomenal. Ryan says the Angels selling Estevez and getting what they got for Estevez. Those pitching prospects were having phenomenal years. Rosarania from Angel, I think that's a pretty good. Yeah, I think that was a good bargain. And then the Rays getting Morel. I think they're trying to get.
the
They're trying
Rays
to turn
being the
Morel
Rays.
into Paredes. If they can turn Paredes into like 80% of what, Morel to 80% of Paredes, and then the two prospects they get, that's pretty good. Yeah, he is, Ryan. He's had a good year.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about the draft spot, to be honest with you. I think the tax for Soler is probably I have more of an issue for.
I don't worry about that.
I'm not really too worried about the
It's not
draft
my
spot,
money.
really.
The Braves are going to have an extra draft pick when Fried walks, anyways. So
Yeah, if he does,
next
if he
year's
walks,
supposed
I'm
to
still holding.
be.
I hope he doesn't.
He's going, man. It sucks, but yeah, it's just.
Hit
But
my finger.
and next year's draft is supposed to be deeper, from everything I've read. So I don't worry a ton about those 10 draft spots.
The biggest issue with the draft spot is not necessarily the draft spot for me. It's just going to be the pool money.
It's
That's
the pool
the
money.
only thing
Yeah,
that would
will
bother.
hurt.
That's the only thing that bothers me for the draft spot. So yeah, and like Ryan also just said about the Freed thing, we'll get a comp pick as well if Freed walks. I'm holding out hope that Freed stays because I'm just a Freed fan.
Yeah.
I know it looks very unlikely, but you know what? It is what it is. The Braves have I'm assuming Strider's going to be I mean, I could be wrong. I'm assuming Strider will be healthy near the start of the season next year, if not pretty early. So,
From everything
I
I've
mean,
read, is
yeah,
Grant still in here? Probably not. He's
I don't
probably
know.
like these guys.
Grant's probably busy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, even if Friedland walks next year, I mean, Strider and Sale and Schwellenbach, that's top three. And that's me being conservative and saying this. Let's say this Lopez injury flares back up. That's like me being, worst case scenario there. I mean, a top three, you're hoping of Strider, Sale, and Schwellenbach already is pretty good.
Yeah.
And
The
then
Braves are definitely going to add
you're hoping Lopez.
another starter.
Yeah, I'm with you,
Oh,
Angel.
wow.
I am shocked that the Yankees have not made Have the Yankees made a trade today? It's hard to remember with how many have happened today. Have they actually made?
They traded somebody away.
They did trade someone away, but I think it was like a small.
It
Wasn't it
was.
like Caleb Ferguson or something like that?
It was
Is that
Caleb
right?
Ferguson.
That sounds
yes.
right.
Yes.
What was that to the Astros? Am I thinking right? It was like for international pool money.
Yes, I believe so.
Was that
yes.
what that was? Yeah.
Here's the thing about Strider's velo. I know that a lot of people are concerned about this.
They did get Mark Leiter Jr. Thank you, Angel. My fault.
But yes, they did. Yeah, but here's why you shouldn't be concerned about Strider. When they went in to do his surgery, there was no damage to his UCL. His UCL was intact. It had just been irritated by a bone spur that was growing from his last surgery. So because of that bone spur, he started to feel that pain, and they went in, they took the bone spur out, and then they went ahead and put in the brace.
Ken Rosenthal just said Crochet is not getting traded.
Wow. Man, they just got slapped in the face. But
in my opinion, I really think that's a risk to be a move the White Sox potentially regret for a long time if he doesn't get traded. Like maybe it works out, and maybe they figure something out in the next 2 years, and he stays on top of things. And I'm not, but I mean, it's a guy with injury concerns, and he's going to be pitching up against an innings, career high. So I mean, that's concerning, anyways. I mean, with any pitcher. So
just a moment. I gotta plug my.
I'll take care of it for the chat here.
Laptop in.
Man, that's worrisome, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the White Sox have had a weird one because I mean, like, if Crochet doesn't get moved, I mean, I feel like you've sold low on Pham, Fetty, and all those guys, and Kopech. Really, you're hoping Vargas turns into something, and then they didn't get a whole lot for DeYoung. I don't remember what it was. Right? They didn't get a ton there, so it's kind of a weird move.
They should have done more. But there it is. Shit. Sorry, everybody. I was looking for my laptop.
Kiermaier to the Dodgers. Yeah, Kiermaier just got traded to the Dodgers.
Okay. Good for Kevin Kiermaier because he's retiring and he deserves a chance to go chase a ring. Although, fuck
and
that.
the Dodgers are very. Ryan Yarborough goes to the Toronto Blue Jays for him, so very for nothing at all. So essentially for Kevin Kiermaier.
Yeah, that's basically a nothing trade at all.
Yeah, the Dodgers are in a weird. They're kind of very similar spot to what the Braves are in terms of all the injuries and such they've had. In terms of they just need to find Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers. There it is. Jack Flaherty
to the Dodgers. Damn.
That's the biggest move now, probably. So, wonder what they gave up for him. We're about to see. With the prices that have been paid, I'm curious. And Nellie's going to sneak her way back in here. So,
what's up, Nellie? Oh, dude, she's got stitches on her collar. That's sick.
Yeah. So here's Nellie.
I'm jealous,
She
Nellie.
wants to come say hey again.
It's like Colleen's cats.
Yeah. So she wanted to get over here. Oh my goodness. Good dog.
I know we haven't done a podcast in quite some time. And I call Colleen my co-host, but her cats are the real co-hosts.
Yeah.
They're
Nellie's
fucking awesome.
taking the job.
Yeah.
You hear that,
That's
Colleen?
okay. That's all right.
Nellie
What's up, Nellie?
Your cat's
God,
job.
she's beautiful, dude.
You're such an annoying dog.
She looks like a lovable dog.
She's like, we've been doing this for an hour and a half now. It's time for me to get some attention. So, yeah. Hey,
Wait. So, Passan said Flaherty to the Dodgers, but Rosenthal said Dodgers are in serious discussions to acquire Jack Flaherty from Tigers. Decision apparently rests with Detroit.
So is this an Eduardo Rodriguez situation again?
Yeah, or they're weighing a different offer.
You haven't been forgotten, Colleen. You've just been replaced. It's a difference. Yeah. We remember you.
I told you to call in to work today.
Frank's a good boy too. Here's Frankie. Frankie's right next to me. There's my other dog. He's hanging out next to me.
3 minutes.
He woke up. He's been napping the whole time.
Man, I can't believe Crochet is not going to be traded. Even worse.
Martin Perez to the Padres.
Okay. Who tweeted that?
Francis Romero.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He's the one that broke the I think the Randy Arozarena trade.
Man, that was a really good trade for the Mariners. They needed a guy who could actually hit. Let's just be real.
That's been a weird team to keep up with, the Mariners. I thought they were going to take a step forward with all their hitters, and they just haven't so far, really.
And
it's been kind of.
But see, the hitters they acquired also just like fell off a cliff. Luke Rayleigh,
Not sure what the purpose was for
Jorge
Justin
Polanco.
Turner. Not sure what the purpose was of
Yeah.
acquiring Justin Turner there.
Uh,
Robert Murray is now tweeting that the deal's done for Flaherty.
Yep.
They're
Thyron
trading
Lorenzo and Trey Sweeney.
and Trey Sweeney's the guy they got from the Yankees in the offseason.
Yeah, I was about to say he is that Yankee shortstop prospect, I think. Cardinals, Dylan Carlson's going to the Rays. Didn't see
They
that
traded him?
happening. Yep.
Yep, there's Robert Murray, yep.
It's 6 o'clock. Pencils down, motherfuckers.
It's just time to see. Now we got to wait for all the deals
Luis
to get
Garcia
announced.
goes from Angels to the Red Sox. Pitcher Luis Garcia, not Luis Garcia Jr., who plays second base.
Why have the Angels not done anything else, really? I mean,
The Angels are stupid. It's crazy. Because Perry
They have
is
so many guys.
he's Alex's guy, man. Why does he not? He obviously learned nothing. Sean Armstrong going back to the Cardinals for Dylan Carlson. Jeff Passan. Oh, okay. Every time you see something from Passan, you feel like it's going to be big. Craig Mish just tweeted. Craig Mish just tweeted and said, "This meme, I got one more in me."
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So we'll see what that means.
So that's going to make what? 7 or 8 guys that are probably going to trade off their 26-man roster?
I mean, they're just.
That's a legit overhaul there in Miami.
That. Golly. Yeah, that's.
Ken Rosenthal. Jack Flaherty has been informed. He's now a Dodger. Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy. Thanks, Ken.
I love these. Well, I don't want to.
Oh,
People.
Cardinals are getting Sean Armstrong. I saw Passan pop up.
Did you see there was a video of Skip Schumacher going out to Brian De La Cruz in the field to tell him he had been traded?
I have not seen that.
And they're like hugging in the field and stuff.
Who was that? That was that's like when the what was it? The Phillies trade, was it Moniak? Remember that one? Wasn't that the guy that the Phillies had a similar situation? Like he was out warming up, and you could see somebody walking out there to tell him that he got traded to the Angels. I think he was to the.
I don't remember that. Yeah, he got traded. For Marsh.
I think that there was a video of him like warming up though on the before a game for Philly, and you saw a video like that where they went out and said, "Hey," and you could see the conversation. You can kind of see them explaining what was going to happen. Type deal. Nothing more from the Cubs. Jameson Taillon has not been moved.
That's crazy. They should have capitalized on that. He's having a great year.
The Cubs were interesting with some of their moves. They definitely like bought, but more in line with a team that's like paying attention for next year.
Right.
So, and it might work out for them. So.
Dodgers sent their number 8 and number 22 prospects.
So for as crazy as some of the deadline has been, Baseball America is saying none of their top 100 prospects have been moved.
Wow.
For even with some of the overpays going on out there, they said so far none of Baseball America's top 100 prospects have been moved. Not sure. That's just coming from a tweet. Don't quote me on that.
You can't just assume 4 minutes after the deadline that nothing else has happened. Like I trust me, I feel the same way, but you never know. Okay, that's a weird thing to say. Dodger fans are rightfully excited. Man. Hey, Kevin McAlpin stole my line, dude. He said pencils down, everyone. That's my line, bro.
That's on Fangraphs, Ryan. This is not Baseball Americas. You liar.
I'm kind of surprised there's not
So
more rolling in yet.
I
But there
keep
will
waiting for
be.
Craig Mish to tweet something.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
going
I just
to
want
for
to see what
sure.
since he's saying he's got one more in him. I'm just trying to see what it was. I don't like Fangraphs prospect rankings. I just want to throw that out there. I know Ryan says it clears. That's the one thing I don't care about Fangraphs. I don't like their prospect rankings. I think it's not that great. Sorry for anyone that loves Fangraphs prospect rankings, but they are usually one
I
of the
think
last ones
Braves
I go look at.
fans. I think Braves fans specifically right now love Fangraphs rankings because they ranked
Yeah, they did. We ranked. We
a
got a few good
16th,
rankings there. Yeah,
16th, and
something like that.
4 top 100
But
prospects.
I don't like Fangraphs prospect rankings. That's like the one I don't. Paul Skeens to the Astros. Oh my god.
What? Oh my god, dude! The Rockies are They did not trade Cal Quantrill, and they announced today that he will not be extended either. They are so bad. People saying Alex Anthopoulos failed.
There's someone saying that there's an Angels move that is about to be announced. I'm seeing it just refreshed. It did the thing Twitter does where refreshed, but I read it and said Angels have a deal. I don't know how reliable the person was, but because I didn't know who it was. I didn't get, the notification from any of the big guys. So
I usually wait until 6:20, and that's when. Yeah, I kind of be surprised if they didn't trade Taylor Ward. That would
I'm really
be.
surprised that they didn't trade Taylor Ward, Renifo, Tyler Anderson. Like Mark Canha
Wait,
got traded.
Robert. Mark
The
Canha
Giants got Mark
got
Canha.
traded to the
What?
Giants.
What are the Giants
Why?
doing?
What are the Giants doing?
What?
Okay.
But there's your proof, though. These trades are still coming in. That's a weird one. I don't get that one.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Do you think the Tigers are just like, is this the San Francisco GM calling me? What?
Yeah.
What's he trying to get me? And he's like,
He's like, hello? Farhan, aren't you selling, bro?
so what do you mean?
Nah, we're just trying to save money, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the Garcia one's one of the few ones I've seen from the Angels. Though I haven't seen any of the other ones so far. But somebody said there's And maybe who knows? Because it probably wasn't the 4U, so it might have been them talking about the Luis Garcia one. It could have been earlier because said it refreshed before I could see anything. We think Ozzy Albies is trending early September to be back. By the way,
Who said that?
that's what somebody. Maria Martin.
Oh, okay,
He's
okay.
apparently got that as a quote from Anthopoulos.
Wait, so if Alex is already speaking, that means nothing else happened. Reds have traded Austin Slater to the Orioles. Marlins are done. That's what Craig Mish just said. Well, what a hell of a trade deadline the Marlins had.
No, it wasn't Ryan. I would have recognized Ryan's name. It was like he had like a suit on in the picture. That's all I could see. Like I said, and who knows? It could have been a fake account. Like I said, it refreshed so quickly. Ryan, I don't know who it was, but he said there was an Angel. And like I said, it could have been one because it was on the 4U page. It could have been the one talking about the Garcia trade from earlier. It could have been somebody saying that one.
Well,
I'm just going to go ahead and get out ahead of this just in case a trade doesn't happen with the Braves here. Anybody that calls this a failure it's not a failure. It's
no.
maybe a touch disappointing, but anybody says, "Oh, this is a failure," no, it's not a failure. The Braves got
I
better at
mean,
the deadline for very little.
yeah, they did. They got better at the deadline, and they're going to get guys back very shortly, hopefully with Harris. Well, Harris can't come back till what, the 14th? So I don't know.
Somewhere in that time frame.
Wait, Ryan Cawthron said something about Angels trades coming soon. I like
That could just
Ryan,
be
but
Ryan thinking.
what would Ryan know? I mean, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but like this.
Dylan Floro goes to the Diamondbacks.
Mets had a good deadline, Bones. Had a good deadline.
It's not a failure. You can say that, but it's not a failure. We don't care. Talk about the Mets. No. I don't want to talk about how the Mets had a decent deadline.
Well, but I think that a lot of people are missing with this is the Braves already have bats, but they need those bats to do their job.
Angel,
I mean,
stop. You silly Mets fans. We're not getting rated by Mets fans. No way.
it's all right. At
I'm
least
still so
they're the
confused on this.
nice ones.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it. Shouldn't have said anything.
Right.
I'm so confused.
Oh.
I'm just so perplexed about this Mark Kanye trade. Kanye trade scheme.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
The Giants like, we just kind of want to make a trade to make a trade.
Yeah.
Do you
Like they're not actually buying. I mean, are they?
he's a
Are they
rental.
trying to win? Yeah, well,
Do you just think maybe like the Giants heard the Dodgers were going to acquire Kanye and they just called up the Tigers and say, hey, what would it take so the Dodgers can't get him? Say
I
whatever
mean,
it takes so the Dodgers can't get him.
Diamondbacks got
Wouldn't that
Dylan
be funny?
Floro. I mean, part of me feels like
I
that's
mean, the
why.
Giants, to be fair, the Giants are
Huh?
only 4 games out. It's just
Yeah.
weird on the of what the other moves they made were.
Yeah. Why did they
Like,
trade Soler? I don't understand
yeah,
that
their
one.
other trades are they must be
He's
I mean, I guess they're like buying while also getting off payroll for 2025. So, yeah,
Well,
you're right, Angel. That could potentially happen. That was mostly just the Angels doing that. So,
Ken is a
and
Bay
yeah,
Area
Mark and
guy.
Kanye is a Melvin guy. I mean, he did play for Melvin. So it's still kind of odd. I mean, I guess, they're just like, um, let's clear out a bunch of payroll for 2025 while also still giving ourselves a shot for the wild card. It's still just some weird moves. Um, yeah, Schrodinger's deadline. Allison Anthopoulos is talking to Maria Martin, or Maria Martin's talking to him, so he's doing an interview. He's saying no one called about sell type moves. So he said nobody was trying to buy players from the Braves. They knew they weren't selling. She didn't say anything about like him saying we didn't make a deal though. So the only thing she's tweeted out two quotes. One is Ozzy's going to trend to be back early September, and then the other one is no one called us about selling sell type moves.
Alex said we have 5
I don't know,
starters that
Angel.
we like. Said they explored frontline starters who could start in the postseason, but couldn't line up on value and cost. Yeah, no shit. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with them not getting a starter. I know a lot of people wanted them to get a starting pitcher, but the prices were outrageous. Definitely sounds like Alex didn't do anything else.
Says David O'Brien is saying the Braves are done, but that's the Braves version of Bob Nightingale. So
Yeah, I was about to say that means we should hang on for a minute.
are you Chew Bones? I guess that is you. Chew Bones just followed me on Twitter, so that must be who Chew
Yeah,
Bones is in the chat, right? You're
he's
gonna take a
he's good dude.
wild stab there. Should I
Don't
follow
tell him
you
I said
back
that.
since
He's all right.
you tricked me? Since you tricked me into talking about your Mets, should I do this?
Angel said it sounds like AA was pushing for Crochet. I wouldn't be surprised by that. And the fact that Crochet did not get moved, I would not be surprised at all if the Braves go get Crochet in the offseason. It's I don't know. The Braves are going to need a starting pitcher. It would be really cool if they could get one that has openly said that he wants to sign an extension. The Orioles acquired Gregory Soto from the Phillies.
The
Okay.
who?
The Orioles.
So they made another trade with the interesting. So the Orioles just took on two of Philly's like struggling relievers to see if they could fix them. You shut your
I
mouth, Angel.
guess.
I'm kidding. That makes a lot of sense. It really does. What you're saying. I'll agree with you, Chew Bones. Nobody wants to think about the Dodgers, but we can. I will gladly say the Dodgers just suck. I hate the Dodgers.
Fuck the Dodgers.
But I don't know how much longer you want to hang on, but while we're waiting to see if
No.
anything else comes on, who do you think? In the chat, y'all participate in this too, of course. Who do you think won the deadline? Who do you think lost? I think the Angels are losers. I think the White Sox are losers. If no other deals
Yeah.
come out, by the way, just gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and get out ahead of that one.
So the Baltimore Orioles, okay, that's Gregory Soto. The White Sox are losers, don't get me wrong. The Angels are huge losers. What are you doing? Like, you are not trending in a direction to be winners anytime soon. You have players that people want. Why are you not doing it?
Yeah, I agree with you, Bones. The Giants kind of lost. The Rockies don't do anything though. Like they're always kind of weird. I mean, at least they kind of made a couple guys. How did they? I don't. Well, it was always going to be kind of tough to trade Elias Diaz because catchers don't often get traded midseason. That's like the one position that's hard to trade midseason is a catcher. Um, so I can see that, but I don't know why they ever. I actually spoke to a Rockies fan on Twitter one time, and they told me what it was, and they said he goes, "Listen, it's very frustrating, but our owners and GMs are just like one of those guys that they're like such." He described it as just being like vibes, and clubhouse is just so important to them, and they find people that are enjoying being there that they like really value them. And like he said, listen, it's dumb from a business standpoint, but at least we keep our favorite players around, whether they're good or not. So, um, that's what I was told from a Rockies fan on Twitter once.
I mean, yeah, but them not moving Cal Quantrill is just there's no reason for it. Yeah, I mean, some people are saying the Braves should have done more. They should have, but we know.
I mean, I'd give the Braves a C plus, B minus range. If I'm being honest, that's what my thought is. I agree with you too. I think the Marlins are one of the bigger winners.
Yeah,
Just looking at it, you never know. You never know what prospects are going to become. But when you got to sell, I mean, that's what you got to buy as prospects. Everything they've gotten though is, I think, great returns. You just got to hope they turn into something.
I think the Dodgers did really good.
Yeah,
they got Jack
over your ears,
Flaherty.
Chew-Bones.
Yeah, sorry, Chew-Bones. Sorry, buddy. They got Jack Flaherty. They got Tommy Edman. They got Ahmed Rosario. Michael Kopech.
I agree with you, Andrew.
They did really good.
And Angel, I agree with you. We talked about you said the Floridian teams. I think the Rays did really good this deadline. I'm just like casually resetting what they did. And would it shock anybody if the Rays, who casually sold this season, ends up in the playoffs as a wild card team still with like a bunch of guys that people gave up on? Would that surprise anybody? No, because the Rays are weird. But I think the Rays did well.
Yeah. Well, so I guess we're not going to see anything else from the Braves.
Doesn't look like it. I was about to say the Yankees kind of disappointing, but I forgot. Jazz happened a couple days ago, so that's still a pretty solid deal for them. The Orioles had a fine deadline, in my opinion. The Phillies didn't do anything crazy, really. They got a decent arm.
They got Austin Hayes, and they got.
They did fine. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's fine for what the Phillies needed.
I think the Mets had a really good deadline. I'll be
Nationals not able to trade Finnegan. Had a bad night, so I wonder if that's it. They did okay though for what they moved. Their Lane Thomas return looked like it might be a pretty good one. The Nationals. So the Mets, I think, did good. I can't believe I'm saying that again for you Mets fans. I will say this as I'm talking about the Mets, and I know you think this pretty close as well. Slightly bothers me that the Mets fans that I'm friends with on Twitter are like the coolest opposing fan base that I interact with. I'm supposed to hate you guys. Stop being cool to me.
Yeah.
Please, I'm kidding. Please don't be mean to me. I'm fragile.
Oh, some of them do hate me. I promise you. But there are a lot that I'm pretty cool with. I mean, they're not.
I like what the Mets have done in the last few years, being serious, taking the bias out of it. I unfortunately really like what the Mets have done. So I wish you guys would just make mistakes, except for Angel. I hope Angel has a great life. That's the only reason I smile, is knowing Angel might be happy. So Cubs I'm just going through teams in my head until you tell me we're done.
No, you're good.
Cubs did fine. Probably should have done more. Reds didn't do a whole lot that I could think of off the top of my head. Kind of a tough spot because they're such a young team.
Yeah, they got a lot of young players.
So it's kind of tough for them. They had some injuries too that hurt them. Maybe should have done a touch more. Brewers.
Angel, I don't know why I blocked you, but my bad.
Brewers did okay. trying to think off the top of my head. Cardinals kind of had an interesting deadline. I do agree the Royals did a solid job. I was getting there when I get to the AL side of things. I think the Cardinals did okay. It's kind of a weird one for the Cardinals. Who is the
Angel,
other central
post your at
Pirates?
so I can unblock you.
Pirates, I think had a decent deadline. AL Central Royals, like Chubon said, pretty good. White Sox, I'm gonna say really bad, unless something comes out later with some bigger move.
Really bad.
If they've traded Crochet, I'll change my mind entirely, but it doesn't sound like they did. Tigers did all right. How the Tigers, by the way, managed to give up Jack Flaherty and not get the return that all these other rental pitchers did confused me. But I think the Tigers did fine. Guardians, I think did decent. Who's the other AL Central team I'm forgetting? Anybody? Twins. Twins didn't do a whole lot really. They only did like one move. I think it was a bullpen arm, right? I don't think the Athletics did anything. That's a good point. I think it's really weird. Now, here's the thing I will say that will surprise a few people. I don't think the Athletics are going to be as bad in the coming years as people think if they stick the landing, but they still should have made some trades. They traded Paul Blackburn. That's really it, I think. And then they traded they traded a reliever to was it the Royals, right? They traded that reliever to the Royals. Anybody in the chat want to confirm that for me?
Can we trade a reliever to the Royals?
Alex Anthopoulos to Justin Toscano says the Braves are under the third luxury tax tier, and that is where they plan to stay. So Anthopoulos is saying they're still under the third tax, by the way.
How?
I don't know. The Rays acquired J.D. Davis. So there you go. J.D. Davis is about to hit 25 home runs in the second half because that's what the Rays do.
Yeah.
The Athletics did something besides Blackburn, and I cannot think of the guy's name off the top of my head, so I apologize. And but did you see Angels?
Ursig.
Thank you. He got traded to the Royals, right?
To the Royals, yes.
Yeah. Angels sent his handle. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did not. Oh man, score please.
Angels, I think, did poorly if they really did not trade Rengifo or Ward. We've been saying for like 3 years they need to sell, and for some reason they don't do it. And it blows my mind. The Rangers didn't do a whole lot, but they're expecting guys to come back healthy. So they're legit, trying to make a trade without making a trade, nonsense. I think the Astros made some good moves for their major league team, but they gave up a lot to do it. I'm going to say it's okay for now, but it could come back to bite them. Who's the other AL West team I'm thinking of? Are missing Mariners. Mariners had a decent deadline.
Yeah, the Mariners.
I'm just going through all these teams. NL West now, Dodgers I think did really well. Padres got some good major league pieces, gave up a lot to get there. They gutted their farm system. They gutted their farm system to both the Rays and the Marlins for some reason. So, I mean, the guys they got should help them.
Half the shit Padres do.
Colorado didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Giants had a weird deadline. And then the Diamondbacks had kind of a weird one too. They didn't do a whole lot. AJ Puck was really it, I guess.
The Braves could have done better. I mean, that's no secret, but they could have done worse. They could have done nothing. And if you think that Jorge Soler is nothing, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. The only other division I think I haven't went through is the AL East, and I've already said the Rays did well. Blue Jays didn't do a whole lot, really. Made some decent
the Red
smaller
Sox,
moves.
Red Sox made some deals.
They might have a sneaky good deadline, depending on how it works out for them.
They got Danny Jansen.
A sneaky good one. Yeah, it could be a sneaky one. Yankees didn't do a whole lot outside of Jazz. Maybe a couple bullpen arms, I'm thinking. Shocked me that they were considering trading Cortez, by the way. Just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, I
And I
thought
think
that
the
was weird
Orioles
too.
did okay. I think the Orioles did okay. So I went through all 30 teams there for all your answer.
Yeah, I think
Braves are apparently 5 million below.
I don't know how that works out, but all right.
There must have been some financials that were not disclosed to us, which is fine. So, I guess I'll talk about the best trade the Rays could possibly make. What did Ken Rosenthal just tweet? Oh, the county commission approves the second vote for the Rays stadium at Tropicana Field side. If all goes planned, groundbreaking early 2025, stadium opens 2028. So apparently the Rays
Well,
stadium.
wow. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out, chilling, talking for a while. I know people are bummed that the Braves didn't do more, but it is what it is, man. Trent, are you still there? Nope, I guess not. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out. Had a good time. Trent, he also had a good time, it seems. We talked about some baseball. It's a fun time. But let's all go watch baseball now because most of our teams are going to play in just a little while. So thanks for coming out. You guys have a good one.